Jeez, this is when Will Smith was a beast. Sounding amazing right here on Spice Drive. And I'm with Mustang, Sally. Right now, if you didn't know, by the way, today is all about the International Day of Families. Yes, and the theme for this year is family-oriented policies for sustainable development. They say this is towards the Second World Summit for Social Development. Yeah, isn't that amazing, right? And family, honestly, is like literally the most important aspect or pillar of society. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like my dad used to tell me, Kevin, you cannot run away from family. Yeah, you were born in a family, you're gonna die in a family. So this is when I was a rude boy. I was like, Daddy, I'm gonna leave this house. And my dad was like, where are you going? But anyway, on the real, so as much as we are so proud of our families and our roots, what I'm reading over here is they're saying, as the world marked the United Nations International Day of Families, a diverse coalition of citizens in the country came together with a unified message that families need protection and not propaganda. Do you know what I mean? Right? Yeah. So in a press statement released today on Wednesday, this week, grassroots voices from across the country decried what they termed as rising threats to the dignity, security, and the diversity of families in Kenya. Yeah, so this meeting was convened at the Boma Hotel in Nairobi by the Coalition of Grassroots Human Rights Defenders. This coalition called for urgent action to address the real needs of families. So, according to a statement, the statement was titled "Kenyan Families Diverse Protection, Not Propaganda." So they warned against the growing influence of some organizations, which they said are fueling exclusion and pushing for intolerant narratives about what constitutes a family in Kenya. Part of the statement read, "True Kenyan family values are rooted in compassion and not exclusion." And I think it's absolutely true, because if you're checking some of the problems that families in this country face, it's like they're not highlighted. And these days, funny enough, because I'm big on community matters, man. Like, I feel like community spaces, and I've been saying this for the longest, especially ever since I came onto this show, community spaces need to be elevated. And it's families that usually take up most of the spaces in communities, right? But there's a ton of problems that guys in families go through. You know what I mean, right? And unfortunately, like I say, they're not highlighted, even on the front page news. Yeah, not even front page, just on the news, right? It's like family conversations are no longer rife. Yeah, it's like guys are so individualistic these days, right? But if you look at it from different perspectives, right? There's so much poverty in certain parts of this country, right? Especially in rural areas, right? There's a significant portion of Kenyan families now live below the poverty line, struggling with inadequate resources for basic needs. There's also unemployment, obviously, right? So high unemployment rates in the country, especially amongst the youth. I think they're talking about must have been 64% of youth, Kenyan youth, educated youth, don't even have access to jobs, you get. And then there's obviously the high cost of living, right? It's unbearable these days to live in this country. Increased taxes, rural-urban migration. Many families these days migrate to urban areas in search of better opportunities, but this can lead to increased stress and challenges, including housing insecurity and the breakdown of social support networks. And there's also health and social issues like HIV and AIDS, maternal mortality, childhood and infant mortality, lack of access to healthcare. I could go on and on. GBV cases, femicide, illiteracy. Hey, yo, like, geez, man, like, okay, you know how they usually say Kenya is a progressive country, right? But, like, it doesn't reflect in families, just like regular Kenyan families. Guys are going through so much, right? Yeah, so these conversations need to be elevated, especially in communities. Get out there in your area, whether you're in school, in your church, right? Yeah, in your podcast, because many guys these days are obviously producing content. Talk about the families. Yeah. Let's normalize having this type of conversations. And I'm reminded of some time back when the former president Uhuru Kenyatta was saying that probably we need to go back to traditional family settings. And this is a very sensitive matter, because as much as, it's not a problem per se, but like, we need to go back to, mom, dad, and kids. There's too many single family homes these days. And I don't blame folks, right? there's many factors that would lead to, a single family home, but we need to normalize, make families cool. Because it's even, bro, like, it's interesting. There's a platform I usually watch. I'm not gonna mention which one, right? But these guys, they were giving some stats, and they were saying how literally these days it's very cool, like it's it's a trend to check in many young Kenyans talking about how they don't even intend to get married. They don't want to start a family of their own. Maybe because it's scary, to start a family because of all the challenges that most guys go through in a family. And it's very sad, right? So, let's keep it moving. What are your thoughts on this conversation on 0719 012 600? Right now, it's 4:33. Mustang Sally by Wilson Pickett. Twendikazi. All right. Let's see what's happening on the roads real quick before we get into the jams. Right now on Gong Road, a bit of a situation after that Daystar roundabout. I'm seeing, where is this? As you're approaching, of course, Prestige Mall, yes, it's brake lights, manenos, and then after that, it just chills. Alafu inaanza kushikana around Adams Arcade, all right. And then if you are on Mombasa Road, there's not much traffic other than outside the Capital Center. Langat Road, not too bad. Yes, but I'm seeing once you're past Galleria,